Hi, Ahmet. Thank you so
Hey,
much for
man.
agreeing to talk to us today.
My pleasure.
Well, mate, I wanted to start off by saying congratulations on this documentary. I've had a chance to sit down and watch it. It is an absolutely amazing documentary, so congratulations on that.
All right, that is really nice to hear. You know, that's that's a nice compliment. Thank you. I mean, I'm biased. I'm in love with it. It's been a long emotional journey to get to this point. I feel blessed to have such a great filmmaker and friend at the helm of the project, and I hope people give it a shot, and I hope they
Definitely.
love it. I hope they like it too.
Now, I wanted to go right back to that beginning because you must have so many people come to you with requests about doing documentaries and things about your father. Tell us a little bit about how this idea was pitched to you and how you first started interacting with Alex about this documentary.
It's true. I've been a fly on the wall for many a director or producer or a production company that would approach my mother or even me at times, and I can't tell you how many meetings sat in where nothing happened. It just wasn't the right vibe, wasn't the right fit, and I got a call actually around my birthday, maybe close to 6 years ago, from Alex, and we'd been friends for many years, and he's just said, how come there hasn't been a definitive doc on Frank? And I gave him some of the backstory of people who had been talking about it and circling the drains, and kind of just gave him a snapshot of maybe, in my opinion, why things didn't move forward. But it was more of a cautionary tale of look, the best I can do is I'm happy to create I think a better environment for you to speak with Gail. Come up to the house, we'll have some tea, get to meet her. And so he's like, I'd love that. And I got a bunch of Alex's films and presented them to Gail. And I had always been a fan of Alex as a filmmaker, and I loved his docs. So uh, Gail also appreciated the film, and I just kind of watched with a total smile on my face, a giant sigh of relief, because um, Gail really enjoyed spending time with Alex, liked his creative point of view, his vision for the doc. I think Alex made her feel really safe, which then made me feel pretty good, not only as a son but as a producer on the project. And I was shocked when my mother said, "Okay, Alex, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna need to have unfettered access to the vault." And that had never happened before. We rarely would ever take anyone into the vault, just because we no reason for people to really know just how much media we have in there. And Alex was blown away, um, and that sort of began this journey where we were we were very specific with Alex. Tell an honest story. It's your film. We didn't want it to feel like some film made by the family with an agenda, right? We were
Yeah.
really cognizant of that, and it was important to us because Frank was someone who fought for censorship, and we certainly didn't want, if you're going to give someone access, warts and all, to what's out there, it was important that if he whatever story he was going to tell, at least be and try to do an accurate portrayal of a gated person, And I got to say, Alex, I think, does that. He doesn't hold back. There's stuff in there that's really tough for me to watch. Certainly, the anything that touches on my mother and father's relationship. That was challenging, being the son of, and also seeing my father injured. Every time I'd watch a cut of the movie, I would just move and then not be reduced to tears. So it was a long journey to get to this for people to see the film. I'm really proud of the film. It's a very personal endeavor, and there were so many starts and stops, and this thing almost never happened so many times. So it's a miracle that it's even out, and I'm in total gratitude and appreciation mode because people seem to enjoy it, and that makes me happy.
Yeah. You mentioned there that both you and Gail felt safe with Alex being in charge of the production. How important was that to you? Because I would imagine that would be something very important, that you needed to trust this filmmaker. And do you think that trust was made a little bit easier because Alex was such a good friend for you?
Yeah. I mean, look, any director, what they want is, the final approval, because they're, going on this journey, right? So every director fights for that. And when you have something that's really personal, it's a big leap of faith, and especially when it's all the media in your vault, it's all stuff that you are giving, someone access to. So normally keep under lock and key, and it's not like you can have him put a computer in there and just go through it one by one. It was a Herculean undertaking that you have to feel safe from a security standpoint because you don't want them meet out, and that's nothing really to do with Alex. That could be, all right, when we're preserving something, what are the protocols? So there's a lot of thinking that goes at bringing something to life that you hopefully want to be delighted by, and to make sure that the unseen footage is unseen until we won't be able to see it. So yeah, that's why I can't stress enough the faith that we had in Alex and team and Glenn and our editor. I mean, it's just it was I will look back on the journey with total fondness, even though there are moments where I'm sure we all wanted to kill one another. But you pull through because real bonds were formed. Gail had every intention of beating her cancer, and unfortunately she passed. And I can tell you that with every fiber in my being, I believe that she would have cried as hard and harder from the beauty, but also that I think a really great piece of art was made, and so it was just a great experience.
Yeah. You mentioned going into the vault and that Alex was blown away by what was in there. How difficult was that for you as producer and for Alex as director to go through everything and work out what could be used in the documentary and what wasn't? Because it sounds like that would have been a huge task just on its own.
Well, I didn't put any limits on it. That's kind of unfettered access and the leap of faith. There's my father was not about censorship, and to have Alex tell the story that he wanted to tell, he needed as a filmmaker to find his story, because you'll find certain footage that might push you into a different direction. And that was not my job. My job was to make sure that he had the access and could have the leeway to find a story and tell it. And it evolved from the first edit to the final cut. I can kind of separate my personal feelings and emotions and do the job of a producer, and certainly in the role that me and everyone at Zappa to support him.
Yep.
But there's so many moving parts. It's what they say. It takes a village to get a project, any kind of project like this made, and I think we all, for the most part, really pulled in the right direction. Put in long hours to make this happen. So it's just wonderful that people can finally see it.
Yeah. Did you find that even for yourself, you were learning things about your father as you were going through this process and putting everything together? Because I know for myself, I learnt so much from this documentary. Did you even find that you learnt things or discovered things that you didn't know previously?
Totally. And some of it was bittersweet. Some of it was absolutely hilarious. Some of it was so touching and heartwarming. It was a very cathartic experience for me. So I mean, not only did I learn new things, I learned a lot of new things and had just even a deeper appreciation. Even old judgments I may have had for, my father would tour and he wasn't around, right?
Yep.
And you can look at around and, I didn't have a father for those, moments in time. But the flip side of that is he was working really hard to create this pretty magical world and a safe environment for all of us to grow up in. And, I just made me look at my father differently, and how I would do things differently as a father. Because I have 2 kids, and so that was pretty great. I mean, the stuff that I really didn't know. I didn't know how much of a I guess someone who liked to have relationships on the road. I swear I thought that maybe my dad had a few relationships outside of the marriage, right? But no, he's full on rock star, and I'm still trying to rationalize how my mother and father kept it together.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I'm not emotionally capable of having that kind of a marriage. But maybe they're more evolved. I don't know.
Yeah.
that part.
Yeah. You mentioned that you got to see cuts throughout the whole process of putting the documentary together, but what kind of emotions were you feeling when you finally got to sit down and watch that final cut of the doco?
The thing that I was hopeful for before I cut, because I knew it was important to my mother. I knew it was something that she, was wondering would come across, is the life of a composer, because Frank was, and he would play in a rock band and make enough money to hire orchestras to hear his music. I mean, he did such a strange, unique, one of a magical thinking human being. I don't think there'll ever be another person like him. I'm biased, of course, because he's my dad and he's my hero, but my hope was compounded that I knew how much my mother hoped that the story of what it's like to live with a composer and the lifestyle of a composer, and to have people see him as that. That came through. I wanted that too, but I also wanted my mother, because I know that was important, and I think that he definitely touched on among many things, and that makes. And I think my mother would be really. I know she would be. She'd be so.
Definitely. Ahmet, I know we are running out of time very, very quickly, and it's been absolutely amazing to chat to you. I was just wondering if we could finish off by you saying, do you have a message out there for Frank's fans before they sit down and watch this doco?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of Frank's fans, they'll definitely learn more, but I think they're going to see it. They're the ones that are probably the first ones who are going to check it out. And those, if it wasn't for the fan base, they really helped preserve the media. Because we had a Kickstarter campaign because the stuff was just rotting. So I'm in total appreciation mode for the fans. First, thank you so much. I hope that you like it and that you're happy with the results, because we couldn't have made the film without you. There's that. But what I hope that people, if they're new that are discovering the film, I hope that they I guess, can be inspired to stay original and to fight for their own artistic vision. And a lot of artists that are on YouTube and even on TikTok and on Sia, I think that would have made my father, so happy to see people just being able to express themselves with such, freedom. So I think that, if anything, I would hope that it inspires more people to just celebrate, their individualism, and to stick to their own guns and for their dreams. And my dad was like a champion of artist rights, so I think that comes across. So I hope that answers your question.
Definitely, it does, mate. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us today. It's been an absolute honour, and again, thank you.
Thank you for taking the time, and thanks for enjoying the film, and who knows, maybe we'll speak in the future.
Definitely, would love that. All right, mate, you have a great day. Thanks, Dave, as well.
Thanks, Dave. I recorded that. If you need me to send you the file, just let
Awesome, yeah, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, I recorded it here as well, but just in case anything happened, that'd be fantastic.
Okay, beautiful. And Ahmet, I'll see you in a couple of seconds on the next one.
Great.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.